Yeah, well, the man is cooling off in the UK. He's will I say in detention now, or he's been held back there? Let's just put that in.
He's been let off the hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, I mean, some people who have read, shall I say, between the lines of people who have read into what is going on, have alleged that it couldn't be too coincidental to have him running, having the issues he's having in the UK, and also at the same time having this mass blitz on his property. But in the end, it's not a matter of who thinks what. It should be a case of what is verifiable in court and what is justiciable.
Okay. Finally, Akwa Ibom versus APC, flag bearer for Akwa Ibom State. Akwa Ibom wins at the Supreme Court.
I don't know how many people saw that coming, but
I didn't either.
But if the biggest court in the land has spoken, there's nothing anybody can do. There's no private counsel in London to appeal this case to. Akwa Ibom is a political titan. What's and all in Nigeria, I think that who you are matters a whole lot in a lot of things. And this time around again, it has happened that he's going to win where it matters the most. Where it matters the most. It matters the most. That's where he has gone to.
The people will decide. At this point, the Supreme Court has no powers over what the people are saying.
No, of course they have no powers over what people are saying, except that in the same way in which this ball is now thrown into the court of the people. We've always had this issue of somebody who is going to be a flag bearer of a party. Party leaders may sometimes say the person has been taken by unanimous or consensus, whatever it is. The question has always been, how is it that the larger masses of the people will vote for a candidate that you deem viable, and yet the party, people in the party faithful, don't see that person, don't deem the person fit to become the flag bearer? It has always been, a dilemma or paradox of some kind. But in this case, the people have to now make a choice to say the field is blown wide open. I mean, you have the PDP, you have the SDP, you have the LP, you have all these parties together. If truly votes will count, let them go to the polls.
Okay.
And test the popularity there.
All right. PDP dissolves Ekiti State Executive Committee, suspends Namani and others.
I think that in that particular case, perhaps finally the PDP is waking up to be able to wield the big stick. Because there have been, we are in a milieu now, Citizen Jones, where you will find that a whole lot of times, one person's body is in the APC or in the PDP, his mind, his speech, his association, his body language, everything he's doing is in another party entirely, and so somehow, if in the PDP itself, if you even look at how the G5 governors have been acting, you wonder, yes, they might have a cause, but you wonder whether this is really our democracy now, where members of a party, leading lights in a party, can be so diametrically opposed to so. But suspending, for me, I think that in the end, ultimately, these things blow into the open when perhaps political solution has also failed, because Namane is a two-time governor of, is it Enugu State now?
Enugu.
Exactly. You don't expect such a person
to be wished away.
So, but if matters have come to a head, perhaps that's why we are seeing what we are seeing now.
Except that, Cyril, we keep talking about internal democracy for political parties, and that's key here. No,
they themselves, they hate it. See, this, I met a youth leader of a party, I think in a particular local government or ward or something, and he said, I asked him, he himself was in the twilight of his youth age. I was wondering how, he was the youth leader actually, and then he said, and then even at that age, he was telling me, he was saying that he couldn't just vie for any seat that he wanted to vie for, because the party leaders have to decide, and the party, if he doesn't get a go from them, he won't be able to decide, and so on. And it left much to be. In fact, what he was saying was not even about them deciding. It was that if they didn't ask him to run, he didn't have a mind of his own to guide the system.
Okay. All right, here's something you want to try for size. Okowa celebrates Delta's oldest monarch. He is the Oworo Day of Olomu. The man is 106 years old. Oh, that's no laughing matter.
No, you know, citizen, of course, but it's called for celebration. I celebrate with him. You know, you would see, I mean, to the extent of the fact that he's 100 and he has gone past the century mark. You know, the cry has always been, long live the king, long may he reign, long live the king. And in this particular, this is a typical, even the Queen of England didn't live up to that age. I think she passed on at 96 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so but if you have a sitting monarch who is now 106 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The prayer is that, well, if he wishes to stay longer, why not? And then we also hope that, you know, as his era, you know, continues, there are also people who are being groomed citizens, which is also very important, to stand in his stead when that time also comes. You know. So that's just all that I can say.
All right. From this day, let's migrate to the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is here. Census, it talks about the census again as census to hold March 29 to April 2nd. Yeah.
You know, and again, Nigerians are sometimes cynical, quite frankly speaking. I mean, people who are old enough to understand, to know, to have seen how these things have played out in the past, they could be very cynical. But for what it is worth, let us come out and be counted. Let's not work out on them. We should have been counted since 2016, because I think census is done every 10 years.
Yeah.
The last one I was counted in 1990. Was it 1990, 89, 90? The Bangladesh census was either 90 or 91. I was counted back then.
86. 86. There's supposed to have been one in 96. Obasanjo conducted one.
2006.
2006.
I remember being counted for the second time. Okay? I might have been counted for the third, but I know that in my conscious mind, I was being counted for the second time in 2006. Of course, you've been counted for much longer than that.
Yeah.
But the reality is this, you know, people, look, in many towns and villages in Nigeria, they see this population thing as a tool for advantage. So, both, I mean, across the divide, across the Niger, I mean, on both sides, both south and north, a lot of people feel that jacking up the figures give them advantage. Now, the issue is this: numbers matter because of electoral advantage, as I said before. They also matter maybe sometimes in terms of revenue sharing.
Yeah.
Nigeria, for justice, you know, when we talk about how do we share revenue, we've had the issue of needs-based revenue sharing formula, we've had the issue of derivation, we've had the issue of population and so on. So people always know that population has been the bane, has been this. In fact, it's part of the national question. What we need is a counting that is a counting for justice. As I said, a counting for truth. Not a counting to skew to to skew at advantage to one. No.
All right,
don't do that.
How about this? Federal government denies hiking petrol pump price as scarcity persists.
If you deny hiking the pump price, you can't also share the responsibility for what is going on now. You cannot. You know, it comes down to some feeling of, responsibility. If you are superintending an economy in which fuel was being held back from marketers were everything happening to the marketers are crowded and said, this thing you're doing, the price is is going to rise, is going to shoot through the roof. What did you say, and what did you do about that? Today, how many filling stations are even dispensing? So if they manage to get that and are selling to make a profit, for me, I think, if you did it, because in the past we've seen them go around, the task forces will go around and say you're holding PMS, they will shut them down, they will find them and so on. How many of them are they doing right now? It just goes to tell you that even when they may claim that they didn't hike the price, of course, it's not, it should be government's work to fix the price, because the road to the road to the so-called deregulation, has been warning the government to say they are handing off this whole thing. And so, but is this the economy that you're running? Of course it is. And are you running it well? I don't think you are.
All right, just gone 7:15 in the city of Lagos, as indeed across Nigeria. And this is newspaper headliners from the Voice of the People Radio, 90.3 FM on your dial. And this is the newspaper headliners. Hear this. Wike approves use of stadium for Atiku's campaign rally. Waives us of 5 million naira fee. Is that laughable?
Citizen Jones, you know, the way it looks to me, quite frankly speaking, the G5 Atiku imbroglio, the way it really looks to me, it has become a circus of some kind. I do not think that the Atiku camp takes this gesture as the first step to rapprochement or détente. I don't think they see it that way. If there was anything Atiku wishes for, is that he will get back the support and backing of these governors, which looks like a very distant prospect right now. Number two, perhaps in light of all the hula baloo that has happened, this is Wike just trying to say, okay, people don't think that I hate Atiku. I could even do this for him to show that it's not a personal thing I'm after justice and party rules. But I mean, what does it come to, quite frankly speaking? Again, I would like to think that whereas a state government might retain the powers in terms of approvals and so on, but a political rally, a religious program, people want to use public facilities, except that these are government facilities again. It's a bit, it rings a little bit false, really, that people want to gather together and the approval has to come from, there's a ring to that isn't just so right. But I mean, if that's how it has to be, what can we do about it? Wike is approving for them to hold a rally because obviously the stadium belongs to the state government.
After all, you say in politics, there are no permanent friends or enemies.
But is friendship not coming back?
All right. Take this one. PDP suspends Fayoshe, Nnamani, and others.
As you said earlier, if they had to go that far, because I think it was Senator Ken Nnamani, people had been saying even as a member of the party, he had clearly declared support or sort of made it clear where he was headed. The G5 governors, for all that they have done, have been careful not to come out outright, as far as I know so far, to say our candidate is P2B or Bola Tinubu or Kwankwaso or anything like that. I think they have been careful to stay clear of that path. But I mean, like I said, whatever reasons have made them not to be able to resolve this matter in-house shows clearly that the crisis has come to a head and that the party needed to wield the big stick. So be it.
All right. What about this? Handle the Naira with care and respect. CBN.
To who?
To Nigerians. To you and I.
And have they led by example? Which Naira? Is it the old Naira or the new Naira?
Oh, come on. Don't tease me.
The old Naira notes are still being dispensed by banks, by ATMs, by POS machine operators. By now, you would have really expected that. And this is not a light matter. It's a thorny, sensitive issue. You want to roll back the old notes, and yet you are dispensing the new ones. The banks, the CBN is now look, for me, it's not a matter of carrot and stick approach. If government is rolling out a policy, there are certain benchmarks in development economics. You get stakeholders together. Okay, well, the CBN is a regulator. You've given a stipulation. Is it a matter of the banks not willing to dispense the new Naira notes, or the CBN not supplying to them yet? I don't see how. I mean, there are a lot of things that banks could do. The CBN is the apex bank. What I don't understand is how the banks can be seen to be circumventing the release of the new notes. I find it a little bit disagreeable this morning.
I saw the new notes day before yesterday.
If they are, I mean, of course I've been seeing them. If they are notes that even came out and looked beautiful and had the buy-in of Nigerians, you would like to protect and hold dearly what you like. But I said it here some weeks ago. that this new, they were even explaining why the note leave a print or a mark on white surfaces one time. I said, our naira.
Cyril, anybody who is not happy with the new notes could go to court and seek the redress. But let's look at the newspaper headline. Hear this. Corruption allegation. Kayamo seeks court order for Atiku's arrest and trial. Oh, come on.
It's a political season. It's a political season. What more do you expect? What more do you expect? In the past, we've had, in 1983, there was a presidential candidate that was disqualified on account of the fact that he couldn't file tax returns. Citizen. That he was not paying taxes, and so he was disqualified. If you, like I said, it's a political system, but if you went to court and were able to prove that really and truly this crime was committed and that the person was culpable, well and good.
Well, after all,
but I mean,
Kayama is a lawyer.
Yes, but
he's a senior advocate.
Yes, of course. But if it is only for political purposes, I mean, don't take Nigerians on a roller coaster. I don't think it's the best time to do that.
All right. You've heard this before. PDP dissolves Ekiti, state exco, suspends Namani and others. Yeah. Of course, the papers would be attracted to that.
No, the thing is this. If in the end, the PDP decides to, go all out to deal with quote and unquote malefactors and deal with defaulters and so on, it's fine. What they need to do is to count the costs and then go to and then head to war. Yeah. I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus said that who wants to go to war who wants to build a tower without first counting the cost?
Yeah.
So if they have sat down, they should sit down and do it. Oh. If they've sat down and said, okay, the G5 governors will be gone, all of you out through the window.
Siri, when we talk politics, my mind quickly goes to what the former late American president said, Ronald Reagan. He said politics is the second oldest profession on the planet, but it bears a semblance to the first. Means the rules are written in the sand.
No, they are. It's clear. Yeah. Once you walk through the building, you are acutely aware that you are in a different environment. So to play outside of the book is to be, could mean being thrown out of the window.
All right. Daily Sun now. Akpabio's APC candidate for Akwa Ibom North Senatorial District Supreme Court delivers in favor of Akpabio. We talked about it in passing the last time.
We did. Some people are still finding it difficult to come to terms with an Akpabio in the APC. So, like you said, let them go to the polls.
Yeah.
Let people decide. Politics is often a question of the test of popularity, sometimes of the candidate and sometimes of the party.
Yeah.
Sometimes the candidature of a particular person could sell the party to the people. Sometimes the party he is on could sell him to the people. So it's a two-way street. By and large, 2023 is already here. The elections are just a few days away. So we hope to see how the court judgment brings anything to bear on the outcome of the elections in Akwa Ibom.
Still in the sun, Imo government to PDP. You are plotting to truncate democracy.
No, I don't know what that means. Plotting to truncate democracy. It's a political statement, obviously. It's a political statement. But if you look at the antecedents of both the APC and PDP, they have both worked against democracy in this democracy. The PDP, a party's example matters a lot. Democracy is not just about people going to vote on election day. It's it's an entire lifestyle. When we are not in a military system of government, when a democracy, when you undermine internal democracy, you're undermining democracy. When you reduce the democratic process to a place where courts decide winners of elections more than the vote itself, you are undermining democracy. Citizen, let me take that again. A situation whereby the court, whether court, high court, court of appeal, Supreme Court, is now determining winners of elections much more than the ballot itself is anti-democratic. It's not right. It goes to show that the parties didn't get something correctly. From vote, and from there, we could even go into vote buying. The PDP, AP. So this is the problem. You cannot be practicing, and all the parties are culpable. You cannot practice democracy with anti-democratic tools. It doesn't work. So all these parties, one way or the other, have worked to seriously undermine democracy.
How about this? Without restructuring, Nigeria can't move forward. This is according to Professor Tunde Adeniro.
No, it is true. It is true. The question now is, how much longer before we restructure? And again, when we talk about federalism, fiscal federalism, restructuring, we have the German example, we have the Indian example, we have the Australian example, we have even American example. Nigeria has to sit back and work out its own model. Like we did in 1960, it was a negotiated model. We worked out, we were happy while living together. Today also gives us an opportunity. It is unfortunate that President Buhari doesn't think that way. In 2015, when he came to power, he was asked that directly, what is your take on the 2014 National Conference outcome? And he did say that that report was for the archives. But we went from there to have farmer-header clashes. We went from there to have a bill, an executive bill. The very first executive bill that was sent to the National Assembly was the innocuous National Waterways Bill that was going to appropriate waterways rights to the federal government, which was gladly resisted and shut down. Everything that, the president clearly doesn't feel that restructuring is the way to go. So it means that whatever thing we are going to do in the name of getting thorough federalism will only come after May 29, and that is if the person who comes to power feels up to it. I'll give an example. After the massive election crisis societies respond to how they evolve. Kenya had a very ugly incident in 2007. There was a serious electoral violence that took place. People died. In fact,
no, people were killed.
Sure. That's the word. People were killed horrendously for political purposes. When Uhuru Kenyatta became president and William Ruto became his vice, both men we are nearly going to stand trial at The Hague. If you remember yes, of course. But what happened before they even became president and vice president? As soon as that election was over, President Wike back then, they sat down and had to devolve powers as part of a peace deal and a way to prevent such an outbreak of violence. Nigeria does not seem to learn. People say that when we talk about state police, that governors will become tyrants. But how about making the law in a way that suits both our historical and contemporary realities, and see whether it doesn't work? Because the fact is that what you fear on one side does not obviate what you may fear on the other side. It's a simple thing. It's as simple as that. So we need to sit down and say, okay, in light of what happened in the First Republic, which made us run away from state or regional police, how do we, because that is the way to go actually. So how do we provide the safeguards that when we go back to what is right will help us to get it right? It's like a marriage. For example, the couple is separated. Okay, it's fine. What are the pitfalls? What are the fault lines? How do we fix them and go back? If you mean well, you will do well. But it is when you made up your mind that you want to live in this warped, man-made Malay, that you remain here. The places we run to, Canada, we run to America, we run to the UK. What do? It's human beings. They've sat back. There were times when those countries we are worse off than we are today.
Yeah.
Living in squalor. But they began to move towards,
Rwanda comes to mind.
You can say that again. We begin to walk towards what's going to work. But the Nigerian problem is that some people want to lord it over others, and some people want to create a colony within Nigeria. Citizen Jones, let me say this: when the Nnamdi Kanu secessionist thing came up and so on, and I said, I don't want secession. I don't want it. But this is the issue. In a country, if you call yourself a nation, a serious organized nation or organized country,
there are some who would insist we're a country, not a nation yet.
It's fine, but what
semantics?
Yeah, sure, but no. nation is better than country. But in this case, I mean, one goes for the other. That's just what I want to say. Nation and country, so it's fine. People could say, we've come together and we've seen that thus far we can do so well. And we think that staying together will even make us better and stronger. It's an opinion, it's a choice. Somebody could come up to say, we have been to, we've been together for so long and we've done so well. And
let's move forward. And
we think that moving forward will be better for us. It should be a free choice. But the fact that you want to even use force to keep your, to keep the family going, it cannot last for too long. Now, it was Nnamdi Kanu and his hordes some time ago. Later on, it became Boho. Tomorrow, it may come from another place. Why don't we just sit back and say, this system can work? Can it work? Of course it can. But how best can we make it work? I don't think that such a conversation is too much to have.
Cyril, but you know where later in October we will be 63 years. And as a country, as a people, we're still toddling.
One of the challenges I have found from research and history is this. Look, take the example of Norway and Sweden, for example, as an example. Those countries, Europe generally, every country in Europe stands for an idea. Every country in Europe stands for an idea. For something as simple as women's rights, Norway and Sweden broke up. Every country in Europe stands for an idea. You talk about German idealism, you talk about American pragmatism, you talk about French realism. Every country in Europe stands for an idea. In Nigeria and in Africa, you will often, it has always been a case of tribes. We were not developing, but you see, our old kingdoms, the Songhai Empire, the Benin Empire, and so on, those were empires that were also thriving based on ideas on industrialization, ideas on the monarchy, and so on. But when colonialism came, everything was abolished. Slavery, slavery also came. They began to bring us together. So this issue, I mean, is a conflict of people, different ideas. People just a boiling cauldron of people who are agreeing today, disagreeing tomorrow. We are not able to forge a centripetal existence. Is it possible? Like I said, it is possible, but we will need to sit down and have a thoroughgoing conversation. We need to become. You can only go from country to nation based on ideas, not based on who is who or who came together or whatever like that. So let's copy the example of Europe. Let us try to have ideas that can keep us together.
All right, Cyril, take your time from me. 7:30, and this is newspaper headliners from the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM on your radio dial, and the newspaper headliners will move to the Punch now. Here, the first story we take from the Punch is Lagos Airport runway shut. Surprised?
We have national facilities or assets that are always under repair. Or if today it's not about an industrial action by workers in the sector, you will almost certainly find that repair work is ongoing, or it's one reason or the other. The fact is that whenever these places are shut, we lose money. Sometimes you may hear that it's for repairs and so on, but we lose money. We lose travelers are short of the sort of convenience and pleasure that they should really enjoy. And you ask yourself, even when they were working, were they in their best shapes? I mean, you come to the Nigerian airport, having maybe coming from America or Australia or somewhere, and you wonder whether this is also an air. I'm sorry, but you wonder whether this is also it's a beehive. It's some kind of marketplace. Where do you find an airport where you have touts, collecting touts, people who are just there agberos, collecting taxes and all kinds of things? It's not done. An airport, you see, is your first advertisement of who you are
to the outside world.
And so if you get it wrong there, if you had that the runway at Heathrow was going to be shut or something, it would even be a global emergency. But here, it's even when you get to the here that they've shut that place. We are no longer using that place. So, turn. We've not learned how to raise ourselves to higher standards. We've not. We've not.
All right. Buhari unveils Lagos Seaport rice mill on Monday.
Lagos rice mill. You know, I thought we used to have this lake rice collaboration. I think at some point, yeah. But I don't think it went on. So inaugurating projects is a good thing. The longevity of this project is what Nigerians want to see, because I mean over the years, over time, a whole lot have been commissioned, inaugurated, set up, unveiled, and so on. But I hope we have the tenacity of purpose and resilience of mind to to make sure that these things are there, they last, and that the impact of it will not just be another project, but better rice for the people at a cheaper cost.
Okay. Banks battle pressure. CBN slashes new naira allocation.
I sincerely feel that the policy is being undermined by politics. And ever since the time that Godwin Emefiele, the Central Bank governor, went and found himself contesting for the ticket of the APC without resigning first.
Was that thing verified?
No, but who went? Why did the lawyers go to court? Why did they go to seek an injunction? Why did they go to pray before a judge, saying that they have a client who wants to run for the ticket of the APC? It's clear. Did the Emefiele ever come out to issue statement saying disowning those lawyers? I didn't see that. So from the day he put his feet in partisan waters, he got into I mean, and frankly speaking, we shouldn't see this whole thing as Emefiele being witch hunted and so on. Now we hear that he has been funding terrorism, and I wonder how come we didn't know this all this while? How come we didn't know this all this while? The CBN governor ran out of he went on leave. Maybe he didn't want to come back. He finally came. I saw him. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, looking so emaciated, and I'm like, this is the governor of the CBN. In my view, it may not be the best thing for him personally, but for the sake of the system, if he resigns today, it will be the best thing he ever did.
Okay.
If he left, because you couldn't have your apex banker, the governor of the CBN, is whom they call the exchequer in some places.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Chancellor.
Yes, because the market responds to what he does. The market responds, the exchange rate, everything they stock. The market responds to what happens at the CBN. Remember when Jonathan removed the Sanusi, we thought everyone was going to fall. Now we have a Central Bank governor who is partisan. So you don't expect that you would have vied, ruffled these feathers, and wanted to vie for the seat of the for the ticket of the party and not have a blowback. I don't think it is possible.
All right.
For many people to even hear that central government has been accused of terror funding of all things. But this is where we are.
And to think that he had a meeting with Mr. President on Thursday.
Of course, to shake hands. For me, that meeting didn't quite come across. It came to me as some kind of show of force. Show of force.
Keep them guessing.
Yes, keep them guessing, so that I'm with the president now. Don't come after me anymore. That sort of thing. So that's what I think it was. But I mean, how do we come this low? How do we come this low?
Cyril, let's move over to the leadership newspapers, and it leads with this: IGP to sponsor 10 officers to pilgrimage in Jerusalem.
If you ask me, I would think that since the constitution itself is clear, I think section 35 or something like that is clear.
There shall be no state religion.
Yes. When we guarantee the secularity of the Nigerian state, if he were to do that from his personal coffers, it's fine. From personal funds, it's fine. It's up to him. But if it is out of police charity, the money to be used for that could be used to buy extra patrol vans and help fight crime.
All right. El Rufai visits sports minister, intensifies planned takeover of Ahmadu Bello Stadium.
It will be good. And if it's taken over, is it going to be a public-private partnership? So that, the state... I've been there before. I've been at Ahmadu Bello. I've been at ABS. It's in Zaria, if I'm correct. It's in Zaria.
Yeah.
The university city. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite an edifice. If they take it over, it's fine. But then the terms on... For, the maintenance, its revenue generation abilities and so on. If they take it over and it's a takeover in the right direction, why not?
All right. Gory story of how sponsored youths killed village head of Lambata, that's in Niger State.
Over money? Oh.
That's the headline.
For some time.
By the paper. And
for some time, Niger State has been in trouble. The governor himself had said one time that Boko Haram people had relocated to his state, they could see them and so on. Today, it's either they're sacking farmers, sacking villages, burning down houses, or kidnapping a Catholic priest and killing him and so on. And nowadays, we have shared values a long time. We've shared value and values. We've shared value and values. This sort of story in Nigeria of yore would have been would have jerked the nation into a serious crisis.
Yeah.
There was time when people robbing a bank was what did that even happen? How did that But today, this won't even make front page. It won't even. It could be buried somewhere in the belly of a national daily. How did we come this low? How did we come? How did we come this? In the UK recently, there was a story about a neighbor to, I think, a 90-something-year-old woman whom her children, gave her keys to be helping her, help out with, maybe just go in the morning, help open the windows and so on. And this man, this so-called good neighbor, began to molest the old woman who had become senile. The cameras in the room or something, caught the whole thing, and so people reported that they were sensing that this man was doing more than the good neighborly thing that they had asked him to do. And so the woman's daughter, I think, planted the camera in the house and eventually was caught. Now, citizen, this is the point. How am I able to go and read a newspaper in the UK, a UK paper, to find this kind of story that would have, but these things matter to them over there. Minor things like this matter to them. But here, I wonder how young people gather together. What was on their minds? It's not just about, it's not just about arresting them and putting them in police cell and maybe somebody comes to bail them the following day. You need to carry out a psychiatric evaluation. The Nigerian mind has gone into, there's a name they call this thing, when you become you become numb to what is wrong. For a long time, for a very long time, we don't get closure to these issues. So they continue going on and we think it's okay, it's normal. Some people say, I beg, na them. It's not an them issue. We're a country that is losing value.
And neither is it is not my portion thing.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
We are losing value.
What touches one must touch all.
The thing that should matter to us, are no longer mattering to us. Or they no longer even matter to us. I mean, if you even read that story that it may even be over money or some kind of flimsy thing, people don't deem it fit that when things go wrong, there are arbiters that have been that are in institutions that should wade into these issues. Now you kill a village head. I mean.
All right. One last story. COVID-19 mutants and the urgent need to decongest custodial centers in Nigeria.
Please take it again.
COVID-19 mutants and the urgent need to decongest custodial centers nationwide.
Sounds like an opinion piece, but I think we need to pick the pieces. We fought a very gallant fight against Ebola. We also did do our best with COVID, even if it was one pandemic that could have blown to the roof and done more damage than it already did. But the good thing is it's come and gone.
Is it really gone?
Hopefully it's come and gone. So let's pick the piece. Let's learn our lessons. Let's be prepared.
All right.
Be prepared. Thoroughly prepared.
We leave it there. It's 7:45, and so much about newspaper headliners. You've heard the stories, and so while you are swatting them, let's open the telephone line just so you bear your mind on any story that tickled your fancy. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number on call. Please stick with the story and no embellishments. Thank you. Welcome. So we wait for your call. Cyril, I think it is not too late to reinvent my country, your country.
It is not too late, and there are ideas. Citizen Jones, look at, for example, do you know that Nigeria has some of the finest social scientists in the world?
You can say
Between the 20th and 21st century. Go and check. From Harvard University to... What have we done in this country? With more than 50 years of social science research, you go to ABU Zaria, you go to UI, you go to Unilag, you go to Uniben,
name them.
You go to Uniloren, Uniport. People, in an average Nigerian university, it is taken for granted that social sciences are like the first thing: sociology, anthropology, economics, management, psychology, and so on. We have them in their numbers. Even marketing and political science. You have them in their numbers. We are a people who are busy in the public space. Look at social media, for example. Nigerians gather a lot. If without even knowing what's going on the other side of the road, if people are gathering, people gather a lot. Which means that we are a communicating society. We are an active people. I wonder why we have not tapped into this crucial resource of the collective mind to begin to look. I was quite young. There was this thing called mass mobilization for self-reliance, social justice, and economic recovery.
MAMSA.
Goodness gracious me, they were everywhere. You do not create value and reconscientize Nigerians in the media. You go door to door, because man was made to communicate. Man was made, and will be.
MAMSA thrived a lot more on this. What do you call it? Town crier system, you know.
They did. You know what I mean? And look, don't take it for granted. Do you know that seeing a town crier today will be like, what?
What is he doing?
Yes, but he also still holds that spectacle. Not to say that that's the only means you should use. Community by community engagement, it's no longer there. When people gather, it's all about how much is coming, how much are we sharing. There was someone that was attacked. Oh goodness gracious me! Almost everything in Nigeria today is reduced to how much. How much it wasn't involved. So. And don't make a mistake about it. If it remains so, nothing will change. Nothing good will come from that how much system. It has to be how well.
I wonder what strikes you when you hear things like every Nigerian has a price on his or her head.
Now, I think it was Babangida that said it, that every Nigerian has a price, you know. And when people said that Babangida
was he right? Is he right? Will he be right?
No, I think that rightness is being manufactured. You know, you have like this man said. What's this guy's name that talked about manufacture of consent? Is that consent, the truism in quote behind that statement is being manufactured? Because when people are being impoverished on an ongoing basis, they have no other choice than to develop the survival instinct, which thrives on how much I get.
But have you also heard "Napo Apoa no Chris"?
If you're poor with pride, I mean, you deserve a national award. But how many are they?
Can you be poor and be proud?
No, of course you can be. You had this woman at the airport who has consistently found 14 million, 40 million, is this $1 million and so on. What has she always done with it? Returned it. There are Nigerians who want to be honest and sincere. It is just that there is a problem. One day I was driving on Third Bridge. I was driving to work. I saw a corpse on Third Bridge. This is like 10 years ago or so or more. So I saw policemen on the road, and I wanted to. No, I think I told them. I stopped and I told them, and I said, I saw this. They said that they had also seen it, but that they had called an ambulance, the rescue whatever to come and pick the body away. Do you know that I went for a seminar somewhere and I said, I think I did. So I said, I saw these cops on the bridge and I told the policemen, they said, you are lucky. Lucky that, for what? They said, you're lucky that they didn't frame you. That they didn't say,
Cyril,
it was you.
Cyril, is that us?
That's not us. Something brought us to that point. That's not who we are.
Okay.
There are Nigeria. There was a time when, if you were stranded in a city, the safest place you could go to for shelter was either a police station or a church.
That's it.
Today, people will rather not go near the police. You know when they say police is your friend, there were times that was true. No, I mean to be
no for once.
To be fair,
Cyril, I always cite this book by late Professor Chinua Achebe. There was indeed a country.
There was when I was young. I'm from River State. We used to be Rivers and Bayelsa as one state, the old River State. There was a policeman who was operating in my local government in Okreka. Is it Odoni or something like that? This man was a family friend. He was he always came around. He died during a peacekeeping mission on the high seas. We wept.
Oh dear.
We cried. I was probably 3 or 4. But I remember that they said the man had died. I was on the ground. But as a child, I was touched.
Yeah.
I was touched. We had policemen that we could run to. On my way here this morning, we had an encounter with some policemen. Listen, this was before daybreak. I had to call one of them to the corner. I said, Oga, now that you've done this, I was headed somewhere. What do we do?
What next?
What next? And because everybody was raining curses on his party, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On his team. I thought it was the ranking officer. So I approached myself, Oga, now that you've disrupted our movement, what do we do? What do we do? He said, so because I spoke to him in that calm, cheerful voice and something like that. So I saw that he was touched. But obviously, because of the way the other people had reacted, they thought he needed to prove a point to them.
Yeah.
So long story short, if we will do better, we can become better. But my plea is that example must begin from government. Let me give an example. Senators and House of Reps members, their aides are being owed. And then they are protesting.
And no, not just senators and their aides. Do you know, as we sit here, 22 states in this country today, 21st of January 2023,
are owing
gratuities of state judges, state chief judges.
Yes. Now,
what does that tell you? Is that us?
Now, and whom do you want to tell?
Just a minute. I don't want to believe the listener, or we are not reaching out to the public. We shared stories with you. Please react to these stories. It's a part of the program. What you say is going to go a long way. 0700 903 903 and 903. Let's get talking. Yeah, Siri, you were saying.
Yes, I was.
Confusion as federal government denies petrol price hike. Marketers seek deregulation.
I don't listen to them. This is why. Now, because we're buying fuel now 300, 400, even more. What they want us to now say is, deregulate at once. Let us rest. You know what I mean? This is where they are going. Deregulate at once. Now make we rest.
There's a call here. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning. It's off. 0700 903 903 and 903. Let's get you.
So you're going to be preaching integrity, preaching probity.
All right. Good morning now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Citizen Jones.
Yeah, I greet you.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning to you.
I want to thank him for his decisive perspective.
All right, sir.
My name is Chuka. I'm calling from Ayobo.
Chuka, greet all of us, greet all of you.
I want to address the issue of the population census. I do not know. I am worried about the timing. Just 1 month after the election. I just want to hope that there will be peace for us to have a census. Secondly, the number of days allotted for the census, just 5 days. I hope we can cover the Nigerian space with that arrangement. Again, I think that if we are having a census in 2 months' time, sensitization should have started by now. And we are not here. People don't know about that. Again, I do not know whether there was a pilot study. And if there was, I hope they are making good use of it.
All right.
Then finally, I want to propose that a lot of women should be trained for the northern region because of the married women who are in border in the north, so that they have access to them. Lastly, concerning the population census, I hope that after the census, different agencies of government will also use the data in the census for planning purposes.
Yeah, thank you.
For planning purposes is very, very important.
60 seconds, yeah. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Cyril, you heard him.
Of course I did. He has raised very germane issues, administrative issues, policy issues. The timing actually. I would have even wished that.
Sorry, another call is here. Hello, good morning to you.
Citizen George.
I greet you, sir. Your name, where you're calling from?
This is Ola from Suliri.
Ola, you are on air. Let's go.
So mine is about the fuel. The fever
PMS, yeah.
The minister saying they did not increase fuel. So you will now increase fuel. I think
you mean the pump price?
Yes, the pump price. The minister needs to call the NNPC and they should come to address Nigeria. Let's know when we are going to get the fuel and the price we are going to get it. They should not just leave us in limbo. Nobody is talking to us. They just keep us without any direction.
All right,
it's
then.
Not good.
You know, Mr. President is the oil minister, so whatever comes from the Minister of State or the Minister
of State can still address, or Minister of Information can address us.
Okay. If the Minister of Information addresses you, you'll believe him?
He's still the minister. We'll believe him. Let him talk.
All right.
It's better than nobody is talking to us.
Yeah, but somebody has spoken. Come on. Don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, many thanks. Cyril, Nigerians are mistrusting of government.
No, did you even read the statement that the minister issued yesterday? He said it was the work of mischief makers.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
And are you going after them?
Let's take another call. Good morning to you.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, this is also N5m from Labado.
Okay then, go on.
I want to talk on the issue of fuel. It's mind-boggling as we who are producer of oil will be begging for oil or buying oil at high price. But for me, I believe that this may be as a result of private refinery coming on. If you know how the Dangote used to dominate any places or any area he went to, he might profit highly, and they are driving into some level of price, maybe 400. So that after that, immediately when Dangote come out, he will maintain the price. That's what I believe. Any area Dangote reach, that's what will happen. And on the issue of our money, non-availability of our new currency, I think it's a sabotage on the side of bankers and our politicians. I'm asking the CBN to move immediately and sanction those people responsible. The bankers and persecute, including their...
you had 60 seconds there up. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Cyril, it appears we are a country of conspiracy theories.
No, people won't. That's why I said that this value reorientation, this change, has to begin from the top. People say change begins with me. It is true, but don't blackmail Nigerians. Don't blackmail the victim.
Let me
change first.
Let me take one last call. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, Citizen Jones.
Yes, sir. Your name, where you're calling from?
Yeah, Engineer Emmanuel Onana is my name. I'm calling from Nigeria.
Okay, now let's go.
Yeah. I greet the man in your studio there. He's doing a very good job.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah. You see, I want to talk towards concerning this PMS price. I mean, the pricing of petroleum. It's very, very unfortunate that a country like this, something is happening like there's no government, even at the election time. It's only in Nigeria that government in power could be behaving like this and still seeking for votes. Only in Nigeria. In other civilized societies, they have no reason to come back for vote because the suffering is much.
All right.
May God help us.
Yeah,
I
help you too. Except that we are a civilized country. So I don't like people tending to demarket us. You know, I'm civilized. That will just do about calls. Cyril, on a last note, when I was younger, I heard things like, you pour oil on troubled waters. What do you pour on troubled oil?
You suppress it.
Suppress?
Just press it down until it overwhelms and consumes you.
Okay. On that note, I want to thank you, Cyril Abako, for coming.
My pleasure, Citizen Jones.
This is Voice of the People, 90.3 on your dial. And, of course, the next show is seconds away. Please stick around.